Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Our second presenter today is Kari Bernardi Epson. Kari Bernardi Epson is the Living Light faculty guest chef and instructor. She is also a professional fun seeker. She's a fabulous chef and a great friend and a master teacher. Kari was the founding director of the nonprofit Monterey County Farm to School Partnership and has spent many years in California writing healthy school food policies and teaching farm fresh nutrition education to kids. Chef Kari is presently launching the Yummy Tummy Food Company. Yay, Kari! Where she will be focusing her talents on guiding the youth, catering, consultations, private instructions, and life transformation. May I present Kari.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Welcome to Living Light's Expo 2009. We're so lucky to have such a nice group here this early in the morning. So I hope we treat you well. I've got two of my pals from my new adventure, which is the Yummy Tummy Food Company. It's a new raw gourmet food company that does catering and festivals and anything fun. So I brought two of the ladies who are embarking on this journey with me. I have our pastry chef that you probably know. We have Miss Megan Ricks. Okay. And our wonderful Chelsea Brienne from downstairs in the cafe. You probably recognize these girls. So we're going to be making some delicious treats today, something that you'll have on the Yummy Tummy menu if you're having us cater your party. And so the treats we're going to be making today, we did promise that they were going to be, what did exactly we say? Lemon treats and ginger goodies. And I think we are going to keep good to our promise there. We're going to start out showing you how to make a slushie, because it's a wonderful time of year to be drinking nice, cool beverages sitting around by the river. So we'll start out with that. Then we're going to work our way into just a simple apple dish, showing you how easy spa cuisine can be and how fulfilling. So I call it a daily dessert. We'll be doing that second. After that, we'll be moving into making a ginger ice cream, and that will have a cashew almond base. And then showing you how to make a little ginger cookie. It kind of tastes like the ginger snap, but I don't want to promise ginger snap, so we're calling them cookie thins, okay? But a little bit like that, and we'll have that, everything you're going to get to sample. So I'm just going to start out with the slushie, and really that's not too many ingredients here, and if you have your recipe book, you can follow along. What I would have loved to use is Myers lemon, but it really is not their season. They're made through November. And so, pardon me, so we're having all the old ones. This is from June that my dad picked, and I've been storing them for you because they're so delicious. So I want you all to know the difference between a Myers lemon and maybe a true lemon. So Myers lemon is what's called a new lemon, and it's thought to be a cross between a mandarin orange and a lemon. So I'm going to pass one of those around. I'm going to have Chelsea pass that. Give it a good smell, and you'll see that it's sweeter and less acidic. Okay. So because we don't have a lot of those lemons today, the way I'm going to get around that is I'm going to be adding a little bit of orange juice to a little bit of lemon juice. So I'm going to call that Myers lemon. And then, of course, we need some good sweetener. I'm using a light agave nectar today. And if you're using a Eureka lemon or a true lemon, you may need to use more sweetener. But remember that orange is both sweet and sour. Okay. And then I have my ice. That's pretty much the whole story. And I'm using a high-speed blender today. If I were using a regular blender, I may do a half amount for this, but this is just going to whip up real easy. So about 60 seconds in the high-speed blender. Of course, half of culinary arts is presentation, right? Oops. I don't think we have enough ice in here. Could you get me some ice out of the refrigerator, freezer? We're going to try that again. Wait on that one. But like I was saying, half of it's presentation, so I've cut little straws in half, and your sample will have that too, but why not put it in a pretty glass? Why not have a spoon that matches it? You all will have these little spoons. So that's what we'll be serving that. And I will ask, these are not cornstarch, these little tiny ones that I brought myself, so we're going to use these for all the samples. So we'll use it for the first one, just hold on to this, and then we'll use it for all four, all the way through the ice cream. Okay? Wait for that. Guess I can start on our next recipe. It's pretty easy. And this is what I call spa cuisine, so if you got the handout with your package, you'll see I did that for many years. And a lot of people are doing meditation in the afternoon, or they're planning to do a run or a hike or something like that. And you really can't bog them down, nor do you want to ruin the meal at dinner because, again, you want to make your money and be able to be there. So you want to give them good food. So I'll just start on that. I used to call these snappy apples because it's got a lot of ginger in it. So very stimulating, right? Warming. Then a lot of this nice Myers lemon. We did use the Myers lemon for that. So literally, you're going to just make a bathtub. Call it apples in a bath. Take a little bit of this ginger. Heat up their bath. Let them sit there. And then we just cored this with a melon baller. Cut it in half. Cored it out. Just going to make bite-sized pieces. So you can see it's very simple. Okay, how hard is that? 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you can do that for yourself, right? You can do it for children. Children love this. Not as much ginger if you're going to do it for kids, right? It's hot. My niece says it's spicy. So, okay, just like that. I'm using my sporks. Has everybody seen these? My traveling spoon and fork. These are my second hands for a little jar like that. And then I would just set it aside in this beautiful bath for about 10 minutes. Anybody want to taste what that tastes like? All right. Chelsea, you want to give them a refresher? Okay, so we've got snapping apples. Okay. And we have ice now. The sporks I got at the Oregon Co-op, the Ashland Co-op, that wonderful, wonderful health food store. I bet we have them downstairs. I haven't looked. Or Whole Foods, she's saying. I think the bamboo it's very popular these days, so almost everywhere. And World Market, lots of places. Okay, here we go with more ice. I think it's going to take it all. So in the recipe it says 2+ cups of ice. Looks like it could be 3. All right. Let's hope that's a holder now. All right. Try this again. Get me a spoon. And don't worry, you're all going to get to try these too. They're just setting up in the freezer right now. So I thought that was cute because that's usually how you might get something like that. So there you go. It's a Myers lemon slushie. Didn't want to take away all the fun by being so elegant, so I did show you guys you could serve it traditional style too, right? Isn't that how you usually get a slushie? But again, they're melting, so I'm going to give this one to, if you want to just take him in the back. There we go. Okay. How are the apples? Snappy, huh? And very simple. Yeah, I say, simple is better. I don't know how we think as chefs we can outdo nature. She's been at it a very long time. Okay. So next we are going to go into our third recipe. I think this will excite and delight you, and maybe one of you is the student that actually made it. I wrote in here, I wish I knew who wrote this recipe. I would thank you, but you just gave it to me on an index card, so can't remember who it was, but it was a student from Living Light, and it's called ginger ice cream. So we're going to do that next. No, but we can keep those to the side. Okay. All right, and Miss Megan's going to help me out with this because it's a lot of doing. Okay. So first we have to, we got to soak our almonds, of course. We're using almonds, so we've soaked them about 8 hours, and they've been rinsed and drained. So we have those. I'm going to let you make some almond cream with this, and I have some water to go with that. Okay. Oh, I almost forgot to zest. And for years, we did put just 1 pinch of Himalayan rock crystal salt on top because I think it just peaks the dessert. It's kind of fun. You don't have to do that, but I just think it's kind of fun. Throw that on there, too. She's just getting dressed up. She is the sweet treat, right? I have to tell you, I have nicknames for these girls. I just love them, and I always call Miss Megan has a couple of them, but her new nickname for Yummy Tummy is going to be Sweet Treat for her. So when you see her, and this one over here with the big smiles, Miss Giggles, is going to be Miss Bliss, because that's what Chelsea is every day when you come up on her at work. Always a pleasure. Remember to surround yourself with people you love to be with. Makes the day go by. All right, ice cream making. She's going to make a little almond milk. You can put that right through there. And then we'll get ready to dazzle you with new things. Okay. And can you fill this one as well? And while she's doing that, I'm going to start processing the ginger, although I didn't... Oh, pardon me, that's for this one. I'm going to show you how to do the ginger. Today we're just going to be using a ginger juice, a light agave, Himalayan rock crystal salt, cashews that have been soaked and rinsed, 4 hours soaking for these guys. And then we're using psyllium husk powder. And if you have your recipe, when Megan and I were doing this the other night, Megan decided to put a larger measure in. So if you want to take a note, I believe it said it was 2 1/4 teaspoons of psyllium husk, and it was really 2 3/4 teaspoon to just get it to the consistency we were looking for. Okay. All right. So like I said, this ginger ice cream was given to me by a student during recipe development, and that's when we're using the ice cream maker, kind of teaching them how to use a manufactured ice cream maker. But the way we do it usually as raw food chefs is we make it in the blender, and then we actually just pour it into Cambros, what we call a Cambro, and lay it in here. Chelsea, can you hold up your Cambro too? Then we scoop balls out of it after we let it freeze for a whole day. So we let it freeze overnight in this. And we take a little ice cream scooper, scoop balls and lay them back in here, and then we can store them in the freezer. How easy is that? Right? Good little snack. Okay. So we're just getting our almond cream, and it needs to be, you'll see that it's a low water measure because it's really a thick cream we're looking to have. And I'm going to scoop up all this almond pulp because you know why? We love to make biscotti and other good food like that, and so I'm going to keep this for Chef Megan and her pastries. So always mark it with the date so you know how long you've had it. Make sure it's airtight. You don't want any crystals, ice crystals in there. Okay. So that is what that is for. We'll leave that over here. Okay. And you know what's fabulous about working at Living Light? Look at that. Clean vessel. Why clean anything? All right, so ginger ice cream. We're going to blend the almonds and water in the high-speed blender. You saw Megan do that. She's now strained the mixture. She's saving the pulp for other uses, like I said, for cookies, cakes, and pies. Now we're going to return that almond cream to this blender, right, along with the other ingredients. The only one I'm not going to put in right away is that psyllium husk powder. I just don't want it to start binding, so let it do its magic at the end. Okay. And then we've got that great light agave. And if you want it to be really gingery ice cream, you can go above the 6 tablespoons ginger juice I said. I like it really hot, and Chelsea likes it not hot. So we're the in-between. I made the cookies really spicy to go in the ice cream, so it's a compromise of our team. And then the ginger juice, just beautiful, right? Well, here it just shows up at Living Light. So I just grabbed it from the back. But you could, you could juice it through a juicer, take off its skin, which I'll show you next how to do, so you might as well do it now. If it's young ginger, because there's 2 kinds, there's really mature ginger, which becomes more knobby, and it's got a thicker skin, less yellow. So really, ginger should just be able to be peeled with a spoon, right? And then you could put it through a juicer. Or you could put it with a little water in a high-speed blender if you don't have a juicer and strain it through a nut milk bag. So you got a couple opportunities. All right. You want to be ice cream blender? I think I put everything in for you except your psylliums right here. Okay. And let's do more balls than that one. Okay, now she's putting in the psyllium husk powder, which people may know is really what Metamucil, a daily fiber product, is, 100% psyllium husk fiber. So you know what it does. It pulls water, and it's a bulking agent. Okay. So this is the ice cream. We're done. We could put it in an ice cream maker, like I said, something like the one I have is called a Cuisinart, and it takes about 35 minutes. It just spins. It has a little freezer bowl that has to be completely frozen. You'll know the freezer bowl's frozen if you shake it and you don't hear any liquid move. That's when you know it's ready. And if you're using one of those, don't go over 30 minutes because it starts to warm the base of it, which just starts to warm the bowl. So we just get around that a lot in catering because yes, to use an ice cream maker. Pardon me? Yes, I put salt in here, Himalayan salt. Does it say sea salt? Okay, I'm trying to stop naming names since I go through all my recipes and we're always changing is it Celtic salt? Is it fleur de sel? Is it Himalayan rock crystal? Is it sea salt? Is it Utah salt? Is it Hawaiian lava? So now I'm just saying salt. All right, so if you have the ice cream maker, put it in it. If you don't, put it in a tray like this. It's got to be airtight. Plastic is best. Do your corners. Of course, mark it if it's going in the freezer, just in case you forget. You're going to want your date and everything on that. You'll take it out tomorrow. It'll be ready to scoop. So 12 hours. So you could do it in the morning, scoop it later for an evening party. But I would do it the day ahead. Sleep while it's chilling. Okay, so then we're going to let this one sleep, and we're going to let you try samples in just a minute. Okay, but you're going to have to wait till we do some cooking, right? Okay. All right, so like I said, I was showing you how to get the ginger cleaned up. Really, you're just going to be going like this, right, until we get it clean enough. Because for our next recipe for the cookies, you're going to want to have it microplaned. So it's looking like this. So you have to have all the skin peeled first, and then you're going to run it on this little thing called a microplane. And I look at a lot of you blondes in here, most important for you, because these strands look just like our hair. You would hate to have that in food and for somebody to think that a long strand of ginger was the end of your braid. So microplane makes it very short. There's no way anybody would mistake it. Okay, so that's what I've done, and it looks like this. It's like very well done, very fine. Okay, so that's what we have for the ginger for the cookies. And I do want to give up some credit for this cookie recipe to Felix Schoner, who I believe is here. He's a pastry chef from Germany, one of the most fabulous chefs I've ever met. And he introduced this recipe to Sherry and I last year. And I've been playing with it because I just love it. And hope to excite and entice him with some of the techniques I've come up with his recipe. Okay. Okay, let's see what we got here. And this one is going to have a cashew base. It does have maple syrup, and I apologize if you're really, really raw, trying to stay 100%. That is not a raw product, I have to be honest. But it is delicious. And maple syrup tastes like candy. And it is a product from the United States of America, so I still use it and I like it. But again, it is not raw. For those of you that are practicing a 100% raw diet, you may want to skip the cookie part. Okay? Yeah, this one's got maple. All right. So following along, now we have moved to our cookie batter. So cashew ginger cookie thins. Okay? And we have our cashews that we soaked the 4 hours. Another one of these out. Oh, look. Are we thirsty? Yay! Aren't they fun? We cut them. There was a question in the audience about those cute little straws, and Chelsea did hand cut those for you, but they're paper straws. I just thought, what a neat idea. How compostably cool. I found those at our local market called Harvest Market. It's a fabulous place to leave your paycheck, if you haven't already done so downstairs in the marketplace. Okay. Just clean this up because we're going to make a mess again. Are those cooling and delicious? Fabulous. Yeah, this is kid-friendly food. Terrific. It's adult-friendly food, I'm hearing in the audience too. Good. All of the assistants got one too. Perfect. Okay. So let's move on to what's next. So I apologize if you were in pastry arts class. I know you probably just learned a recipe similar to this. Anybody just do the pastry arts class this week? Okay. You might recognize this then. Anybody remember the word tweel? Okay. I'm going to call them a cashew ginger cookie thin because that's what they are. I want you always to know what you're going to get. So if you're going to use something like a nut, you want to name it. If you're going to use something spicy like ginger that maybe is not appealing to everybody, you want to name it. And then they're paper thin, so I wanted you not to expect a big fatty cookie either. So that's what you'll be having with your ice cream. Okay, so really to make this, you just need to make a cookie batter, which I will say you can eat right out of the blender. So there's no eggs, no raw eggs that you have to worry about. You just have to worry about getting it on the Teflex because some of my friends are here in the audience. They were with me while I was making them this week. And I have a cashew belly. I don't know if anyone noticed. I've been tasting a little too much. All right, so I've got my water measure. I'm going to put everything liquid down here near the blade. Make sure those cashews get nice and smooth, and that's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to be putting everything in the blender, aside from my black sesame seeds. So I've got vanilla extract, some salt, Look at all this ginger. Sorry, Chelsea. Nobody was complaining. People were, woo, they were hot, but they're good and hot. Love it. Okay, then I've got a little rapadura. Again, this is not raw, so this is not a raw recipe. This is evaporated cane sugar. Okay, and it tastes so good. That's what makes it really taste good. And then I've got my soaked and drained cashews. That's my whole story here. Just going to blend it up. We're just looking for smooth. Sorry it took so long, but you want it so where it starts to glisten. You don't want the vessel to be warm, but you want it to really, you don't want to have bits of cashew to chew. So can we see that? It's like glossy. And you'll see it as I pour it onto the sheet. So exactly one recipe fits one sheet. And I would ask that you don't like double it up or try to make too much because it just won't dehydrate properly. So just one recipe per sheet. And Felix is a professional pastry chef also, so I'm guessing that this is probably similar to how they make tuiles, the cooked tuile. And we'll leave that in there because we want to taste it. Okay, so don't rinse that. That's the batter that the girls and I get to eat. All right, so really it's just spreading it out to its corners because it's just going to be like a flax cracker almost. And I'm going to let the pro cheesecake spreader, Megan Ricks, do the rest of this. Megan Sweet Treat Ricks, I'm going to let you do that while I figure out what else I want to tell you folks. Do we want to hand those out since they're kind of, I think we should have some ice cream if you're done with everything else, right? We're ready to keep it cool? Yeah, keep your spoon. Remember, that one is not cornstarch, so I want to make sure you keep using it and using it. All right, so all we're doing is we're just going to spread this as smooth as we can. It never really gets completely smooth, or not by my hand at least. And the way I get away with that, if you find that maybe you're not as talented as Megan's spreading abilities, I always like to coat things with something. So when I was the pastry chef, I always topped the cocoa cakes with a little bit of powdered cocoa because it could mask it a little bit for me. And the same thing when I'm making these tuiles, you'll notice that I've masked them not only because I love sesame seeds, I love the nutrition it brings. I think they're beautiful. These are black sesame seeds we're using. But I just think if you don't have the hand to make something perfectly smooth, a little garnish really helps. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. We're just going to be topping them with a little bit of black sesame seed. And as little or as much as you like. I did want to show you, and I don't know which ones you got. Some people have a single cookie, so he's tan on one side and spotted on the other. And some of you got a double cookie, so he's got sesame seeds on both sides. Just to show you, you could fold this over once it's dry and cut it with two sides. Right? I'm going to show you that too. So what you do is you're going to leave this in, and we might as well. This seems great. So your next act is just to sprinkle it. And you know what's funny about human beings? We would love to just keep sprinkling it in this one way, right? But we all have a tendency to go one place. So I always tell the students, Move the tool around, because otherwise I would have a big pile of sesame seeds in one corner because I just can't help myself. So you got to kind of fool yourself and turn it around. So we're just sprinkling these on, and you can go up to 2.5 tablespoons, but I really wouldn't go farther than that because then it's like a sesame crunchy kind of thing. So it loses its sweet, delicious-y maple lusciousness. So not too hard on the seeds. 2.5 tablespoons at the most. Probably 2 is better. Okay. So we've got that now. Everybody can see you would put this into the dehydrator. And the dehydrator we would use is the Excalibur. And the reason why we love it as raw food chefs, it's got the fan in the back. And I can run these trays in. You want to put this tray in there? So you can put the tray right into the rails. I'm going to leave that overnight at 105 degrees. And it's really going to, it's not going to get completely dry. It's still going to be nice and flexible. Enough that I can pull it off the sheet, or I can flip it over to itself. So you're going to leave it overnight. Then you're going to take it off the nonstick sheet, and you're going to put it right onto the mesh. And you're going to leave it there 24 hours if it's a warm, dry place, like I see some Los Angeles gals in the audience. But 48 hours for me here on the coast it took. Okay, so once it came off of the nonstick, it took another 48 hours here in Northern California. So her question is, could you use it and not completely dry it and roll it into all sorts of stuff? Yeah, here's what I want to show you too. And that's one of our students, Marie. What a smarty pants. Let me show you. Sure. Like I like them all doubled up, and so I like to make ice cream sandwiches. Do you have any ice cream left? Let's make one. Okay, so I like ice cream sandwiches, so you could make them like thicker cookies like that. Or I made paper thin ones. Or if you're really cool, like at Yummy Tummy, I make something called a decadent. So it's like this, and it's got ice cream in the middle, and then it's got a coulis, and then you have your flat face on top. So it's like a little sandwich. Okay? I know, I scare myself now that I'm back out on my own. So I said my pants barely fit anymore. I've tasted everything. That looks like a lot. Delicious again. All right. That's that kind of ice cream sandwich, a big thicky one. And then let's do a little one. Yeah, so the great thing about this ice cream, I think you saw it in my notes. I live with an ice cream eater. So I could probably refreeze that and have it for a whole month, but if my husband knew it was there, that it wouldn't even last till tomorrow, right? So you could have it in the freezer for up to a month. I've had it, and I feel like it's perfectly fine. Here's some little, are these called profiteroles? What are they? Paroli, something like that. So I always liked that cookie. Then I made some thicker cookies. I made the double, the single, some little ice cream sandwiches. Maybe we can bring it all up front here for you so you can see it all. And what I want to show you is the most fancy thing. For the big cookies, I just used a regular vegetable cutter. And I know when you came to school, we only use these at this school. But this is called a crudité cutter, and this is what we use in catering. And it's the actual top that goes on it so it doesn't hurt your hand so you can keep going. So these come in beautiful little sets. They're totally washable, wonderful. And I would say everybody needs some. They're just so fun, and they're fun for cutting out brownies and everything else. Anything you make, onion bread, whatever, mushrooms. These are not at the store. Actually, I found it at the Botanical Garden, which is down the street, and it's a wonderful place. So ladies, let's put this last stuff up here. Let's try to get our little display on here. Clean off our area. Because we have made a lot of things. Can I have a hand raised for somebody that wants to give a testimonial? Anybody enjoyed something more than the other? We'll get rid of that one. Okay, here are you, Joe Ellen.
Yes.
The best little cookies? The best little cookie she's ever tasted. I love that. All right, how about you in the front row? Jeanette.
I am having my grandchildren next week, but guess what? I'm going to get them busy with.
All right.
Yes.
She's going to get her grandchildren busy making these recipes. Now that impresses me because you know this is why I do it. I do it for the youth. Here's two of them. We have a 21 and 22-year-old ready to take on the world. I am so proud of these girls. Can we give them a hand too? And come on over here, ladies. As we present everything to you, I want you to know that we have cards in the back for you. I'd love to show you about that. Come on over, Yummy Tummy. Our new adventure. Wish us luck. I hope that you think good thoughts for us. We're going to do important work on the planet. Yeah, thank you.
Yay, nice job. I'm just going to hand these out.
Okay, so we have cards to hand out, and I want to make sure I invite you tomorrow to a Farm to School video that I'm showing at 1:30. We're going to be downstairs in the Abundant Health. And it is a film I made with college students. I actually wrote and directed the film in 2005, and it's a successful Farm to School program. So we went to the inner city of Salinas and built a garden with children of both Norteño and Sureños, and made it where everybody could be together and learn about healthy eating. So it's a really fun video. And I'll be downstairs tomorrow. Oh, she likes our new colors and logo. When are you going to be able to get the t-shirts? Well, I told them we're going to have a booth next year at Expo, but we do have a website we're building right now, and it's yummytummyfoodcompany.com. So you can visit us there. It's under construction, as they say. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoy the Expo.